Hello, anybody who's watching this. Welcome to my reaction to what did they do if you survive your execution? Did he even say that correctly? Doesn't matter, you got a point. Tales from the Bottle by Cuxier. This is a question that I actually did wonder myself. Because it must be like rare chance when somebody survives their execution. Executions are made, a lot of them are made non-survivable. Like a guillotine or something. But I feel like can you survive it? We'll see. I guess we'll see. Because it Tales from the Bottle is probably a realistic thing, not just gonna show us like part of the law in some country. And I think that's gonna happen. Hopefully not. Hopefully there will be a real example if that actually happened. What if not? Anyway, if you want to help out the channel, there's donation in the description below. If you want to get videos early, there's a Patreon page. And if you don't want to do any of that, like, comment, subscribe. Whatever you want. Let's begin. Am I plugged? I think I'm plugged. Yeah, good.
The year is one from the future.
Okay,
I am strapped down to a gurney in the execution chamber. I have been condemned to die by lethal injection, and all for a crime I didn't even make any money from. The executioner swab my arm with alcohol, then insert the IV. A sequence of drugs passes through them and into my system. Pentobarbital.
Like, do they need to wash your hand with alcohol? No, like you get rid of bacteria and stuff like that. Like for a normal situation, of course they have to do that. But if they're gonna kill the person anyway, you can just jam anything in, really. Like it could even be a used needle, just from a previous execution that happened like 20 years ago, and it's just all dusty and rotten.
Pancuronium bromide, potassium chloride.
Is that what's in the little
However, being Irish, the alcohol swabbed on my arm provides me extraordinary vitality, and I survive the injection. So what do they do now? What happens when a person is still alive after the execution? Do they just let you go? Oh, hell no. My ass is grass. Death penalties are generally fairly explicit in mentioning you must be dead by the end of the proceedings, so whether by electric chair, firing squad, or lethal injection, if they didn't get you the first time, they're just gonna try again. It's the only prison sentence they make sure has a 100% rehabilitation rate. They guarantee you won't reoffend after this one. This has happened many times before too. Electric chair put inmate in a state of excruciating agony instead of killing them. Oops, well, not to worry, just blast them again. But what if your executioners don't know you've survived? Well, it turns out that's happened before too. Wenceslao Miguel was born in Mexico around 1890.
He looks like
someone as a young man, he joined the rebel forces during the Mexican Revolution. His unit was poorly armed and inexperienced, and they were captured in 1915. Branded traitors, they were sentenced to death without trial. And so they were lined up against a wall. The firing squad consisted of 8 soldiers and 1 officer who would deliver the coup de grace after the soldiers had fired to ensure death. One by one the rebels were executed until it was Miguel's turn. The firing squad opened fire, hitting Miguel in the head and body. As he lay on the ground, the officer approached with his revolver and shot him point blank in the head. In total, Wenceslao Miguel had been shot 9 times. With another battle penciled into their schedules, the soldiers left the bodies where they lay. Unbeknownst to them, Miguel was still alive. He pretended to be dead and waited for his executioners to piss off. He had just taken a hell of a lot of bullets, way more than the recommended daily intake, and was in a lot of pain. Nevertheless, he arose from the bodies and staggered off to find help. Finding a church several blocks away, he stumbled in and found someone to help him. The bullets were pulled out and the wounds stitched up, leaving Miguel permanently disfigured, but otherwise healthy. Despite being shot in the head numerous times, he didn't suffer any brain damage. He went into hiding until the revolution ended and it was safe for him to be seen. After this...
That's interesting. Like on this photo, he's disfigured and stuff, but it doesn't look much like on the head itself with the brain part. At the part where the brain is, it looks normal. It looks like he maybe was shot in the face on, but point blank, he probably would have got shot in he probably would have gotten shot in the head.
He
I'd
just
assume.
continued on with his normal life, although sometimes his appearance would prompt questions, which Miguel obliged with his story of surviving an execution. In
Oh,
1930, he moved to the United States, where the questions continued, as did the telling of the story. Obviously, it's an incredible story, and one can
is it
only
real
imagine the
though?
impact it had on the type of people who ask others why they're so disfigured. The story spread, and eventually it made its way into the ears of Robert L. Ripley, founder of Ripley's Believe It or Not. Ripley featured Miguel and his story on his radio show, which widely popularized the legend of El Fusilado, the one who was shot. Under this nickname, Miguel toured around
Quite a
America,
sick
allowing
nickname.
fans of the radio story to see his wounds with their own eyes, making the unbelievable believable. He eventually returned to Mexico, where he died in 1975. It's unknown what his exact age was, but he was in his 70s or 80s, vastly outperforming the life expectancy of most execution victims.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Wenceslao Miguel El
By a
Fusilado.
lot.
Your legend has inspired me to start microdosing the drugs they use for lethal injection, so that I can build up a tolerance and become immune to execution. As I stated in the intro, this won't stop the executioners, so I'll just have to do the same with electricity and also bullets.
Yeah.
I'm hoping there's an unwritten loophole in the death penalty when they just run out of options. You may be asking, Cukes,
Do you think that's what Electroboom is doing? Like he shocks himself over and over again for fun, but actually he's not gonna become a superhuman who is not affected by electricity.
Sir, why do you seem so convinced you're going to receive the death penalty at some stage in the future? To which I respond, this is a pre-recorded video. You don't ask questions. That's not how this works. You just sit and watch. If you have enjoyed this session of sitting, watching, and not asking questions of non-interactive media, please do not consider subscribing, and instead consider, if I were to happen to see another video made by this guy, would that be the worst thing to happen in my life? The answer is no. You've already been born, so subscribe. Stand me straight against the nearest wall. Line up your bravest soldiers, oh. 10 good shots, I'll take them all. They call me El Fusilado.
Okay, that was weird. That never happened before in his channel. Anyway. Yeah, it makes sense that you're just gonna do it again. But if that's a real story, because like it happened quite a long time ago, so I feel like you won't be able to prove that it didn't happen easily. Like now on the internet, you can just Google stuff and find out like different details that would point to someone's story being true or someone's story being a lie. But in those times, he could have lied, and like something happened, like he played with his dog at home and just beat him, and for some reason went insane. But it was a shit story, so he just started saying that he survived an execution. But I wouldn't say that, but maybe those guys who did the execution backed his story up, which could be a thing, but I feel like if he was supposed to die, he was supposed to be executed, and the executioner comes back, executioner won't be like, hey there, sir, yeah, how are you today? Oh, nice. He's just gonna beef and puff. I don't know. It's just me. Anyway, thank you anybody who watched this. I appreciate it a lot, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye. Have a great life, because one of us has to.